KOTV 6, Tulsa. This is the News on 6, the 6 o'clock edition, with Clayton Vaughn, Glenda Sylvie, meteorologist Jim Giles, and Bob Stevens on sports.
Tornadoes, hail, wind, and rain. Northeastern Oklahoma under siege.
The fish are dying at the port of Catoosa, and no one seems to know why.
And school's finally out, but not everyone's looking forward to summer vacation.
I don't want it to end.
Good evening, I'm Glenda Sylvie.
And I'm Clayton Vaughn. There is severe weather all across northeastern Oklahoma tonight, but so far it appears there has been no major damage. No injuries have been reported. The severe weather moved in around 4 o'clock into our area, and this is what it looked like out on the streets and the highways. A tornado was sighted about 10 minutes till 5 west of Sand Springs. One report of a barn being down, but that's the only damage. Then as the storm moved into Tulsa, about 1,000 homes lost electricity. High winds knocking out a feeder line out near Yale and Archer. Two 18-wheelers jackknifed on the Broken Arrow Expressway, and that backed up traffic for miles. And again, there was some very large hail reported in some parts of the area. A tornado warning was issued, but it expired at 5:30 this evening. And the crux of the storm is now moved generally to the south and east of the Tulsa area. And Jim Giles has been tracking it and is standing by now with details. Jim?
Thank you, Clayton. We're looking at Doppler 6 radar, and we're seeing some rotation with the storm moving into the Pryor area. We've been in touch with the Sheriff's Department there. They tell us that the sirens have been sounded. Funnel clouds have been reported west and north of town. So if you live in the Pryor area, it would be advisable to take cover at this time. That's the squall line moving in on your area. We're looking now free of ground clutter at much of the city of Tulsa. Storm is gone. We can breathe more easily at this point. Clayton?
All right, thank you, Jim. A light plane crash. When the plane landed on the Indian Nation Turnpike south of Henrietta this afternoon, caused a traffic accident. At least 4 people were hurt. Authorities say the pilot was apparently trying an emergency landing on the highway. The plane hit a power line, went down 5 miles south of Henrietta. A spokesman at the Henrietta Hospital says 4 people came to the hospital by ambulance. Others were expected to be sent in for examination. No report on any extent of those injuries.
Thousands of fish went belly up at the port of Catoosa today. State investigators are at the port trying to figure out what happened. Rick Peterson reports.
Authorities estimate more than 35,000 fish have died at the port of Catoosa in the last 2 days. Most of the fish are small shad, but state investigators say they've also found striped bass and catfish.
Well, obviously it's a fish kill, as you can judge by the appearance of the surface of the water. The source at this time we're trying to identify, as well as trying to get a good handle on the species of fish involved.
Authorities say the fish kill does not present a health threat because it doesn't extend out into the Verdigris River, where people do a lot of fishing. This isn't the first fish kill here at the port. Last September, some 200,000 fish died. The Water Resources Board believed fertilizer somehow got into the water and caused the problem. No one was cited, but once again, the Water Resources Board believes fertilizer may be the culprit.
There's a good possibility. Indications we've got so far in relation to the last episode, which occurred last September, indicate that it's a good possibility that it's commercial grade fertilizer. But we don't have a good handle on that just yet until we get analytical data back from the lab.
Investigators say they should know what caused the fish kill when they get their lab results back sometime next week. At the port of Catoosa, Rick Peterson, Channel 6 News.
A restaurant worker in Stillwater has been confirmed to have hepatitis A. Payne County health officials say anyone who ate at the Stillwater Burger King between May 19th and 23rd and May 29th could be at risk. The Payne County Health Department will be open tomorrow from 9 to noon for people needing shots or information.
County Treasurer here in Tulsa wants to get tough on people who are not paying personal property taxes. But as Julie Matsko reports, the search for taxes may be too taxing for the Sheriff's Office.
The county tax rolls include some $4 million in unpaid personal property taxes.
Personal property taxes that ultimately are not paid are taxes on the personal property owned by businesses. I think economic conditions has something to do with it, and also the level of enforcement of the statutes that are there to collect them.
Enforcement is essentially a series of written warnings. First, delinquent taxpayers are notified by newspaper. Column after column lists names and the amount owed. If the newspaper listings don't work, then the department issues a warrant, which the sheriff's office will mail out. But even that isn't enough to convince some people to pay up.
There's no doubt in my mind that a personal contact between an officer and the person that you're serving the paper would have more bearing than just this missile coming through the mail to them.
It won't take very much activity on the sheriff's office part to actually result in people realizing that if they don't pay, that something bad is going to happen.
But the sheriff's department says that will take extra manpower, something not readily available. The treasurer's office says it has considered using part of its budget to pay for the use of an officer because it believes increased enforcement will eventually pay off. Julie Matsko, Channel 6 News.
Personal property taxes are just a small part of the back taxes owed the county. The Treasurer's Department says it's trying to collect more than $145 million in delinquent taxes of various kinds. Next year's proposed budget for the city of Tulsa is out. Totals more than $259 million. Some of the proposed expenditures are more than $78 million for public safety and for protection, $26 million for airport costs and transportation, and $29 million for general government, such as personnel services, legal representation, operating commissioners' offices. There will be a public hearing on the proposed budget on June 13th.
The school bells at Tulsa Public Schools rang for the final time today to end the school year. Many other schools across Green Country got out yesterday. For some of the younger students, ending the term wasn't so easy. First graders at Patrick Elementary spent part of the day picnicking at Whiteside Park. Sharing their favorite foods was a great way to end the school year.
I've got a big, humongous pack of Cheetos, a banana, and a sandwich. I got an apple, Doritos, cheese crackers, and a napkin.
Many students say they'll miss doing their math more than anything. And teachers say they'll miss the students, but they're still looking forward to the summer, too.
Most students are making plans for the summer, of course, but one organization here in town's already concentrating on the next school year. John 316 Mission started its annual school clothing drive today. Mission workers are trying to gather enough new and used clothing to help clothe 2,000 children this next school year. They say nice-looking clothing can help a child stay in school and off drugs.
The main reason for wanting to get high is because you feel low. And if they feel low about the way they look, then they're chasing after drugs and alcohol and other things.
Clothing donations will be accepted at the 316 Mission until the middle of August.
Wagons ho! When we come back, we'll retrace the first trek to Sand Springs.
And a preview of what's in store for us this summer.
We've tried a lot of things at Sonic since 1959, and while some things didn't last, one did. Sonic knew that a burger, fries, and soft drink would always be America's most favorite meal. That's why during Sonic's 30th anniversary celebration, we're featuring America's Combo, a made-to-order Sonic burger, fries, and a medium soft drink for a special low price. So enjoy Sonic's anniversary with America's Combo.
Honey, I'm starved.
Coming, dear.
And better than ever.
Looks like a BMW 735. Must be at least $500 a month. More room than the Acura Legend. I'd say $450.
Feels like you're in one of those expensive sports cars.
Fuel-injected overhead cam V6. We're talking major money.
The $269 a month, 160 horsepower Nissan Maxima. The four-door sports car. Lease one at your nearest Nissan dealer now.
It was a regular blast from the past. 4 wagons rolling through downtown Tulsa today. The wagons retracing the route other people took 80 years ago. That's when oilman Charles Page moved 21 children from a defunct orphanage to a new home west of Tulsa. That new site became the Sand Springs home. 12,000 children and mothers have lived there in the 80 years since. And, of course, it's still open today.
It's opening night of the musical Oklahoma at Discoveryland near Sand Springs. A record 100,000 visitors are expected to see the theater's rendition of Rodgers and Hammerstein's Oklahoma. And as Jane Mitchell reports, that's a sign tourists from around the world are discovering Tulsa and Oklahoma.
Thought you was somebody. I got a beautiful feeling going my way.
Lisa Manley is new to the role of Lori, the girl who tries to resist the charm of Curly. The actress from California says her part in Oklahoma, the musical, is opening her eyes to what Oklahoma, the state, is all about.
I thought everybody was going to have hay sticking out of their mouth in their shorts. And people seem to retain kind of a charm, and they're able to retain that sincerity and that niceness, which I think is probably what carries over from the play into today's Oklahoma.
The state's tourism industry has been in a fix as well.
I think that we shied away from it and thought, oh my gosh, we need to cover it up. We've got to be a cultural city. We don't want to be the Oklahomans, the Okies.
But just as the Will Parker character brings the ragtime and other big city trends to his country friends, promoting the cowboy and Indian theme in other states and Europe is paying off.
They go to California, they've been to Arkansas, they've been to Missouri. I've had tour operators tell me this, that the surge is now toward Oklahoma and discovering the unique aspect of the Indian heritage that we have in Oklahoma and that we can be so proud of.
If the state continues to capitalize on that, Oklahoma's tourism story may be like the Lori and Curly love story, one that lives happily ever after. Jane Mitchell, Channel 6 News.
This is the 13th season of the outdoor production, and Jane tells us that as far as it goes now, they're still on for tonight.
Well, they should, because the weather is clearing, and it's still a wonderful show, as you know.
Oh, it is.
I mean,
Great play.
It just never seems to get old.
I never get tired of it.
Particularly here in Oklahoma.
Right.
Jim Giles joining us now with a look at this weather once again, and Jim looks a little spiffier than usual.
Though.
Where'd you got up tonight?
Well, I figure you wearing a yellow tie and pheasant tie. Hey, I'm going to go with the tux.
No, actually, you're going to a some sort of a Symphonia bash or fundraiser.
Symphonia, yes.
Oklahoma Symphonia, right? The Stardust Ball, and it's going to be starting at around 7 o'clock or so. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, I hope you get there, actually.
I think I will, and Beth Brinkle's going to be there with us tonight. It looks like quite an evening. Now, how about the Oklahoma play? I think everything is all right. It's cooled down. The storms are off to the east of us. Over in Pryor, they're getting pelted right now. I'll show you Doppler 6 and more after this.
Get 'em up! Move 'em up! The Chevy Drive is on. From Detroit to Oklahoma, 3,600 cars and trucks are on the move to your Oklahoma Chevy dealers. We've been overstocked by Chevrolet with Corsicas, Berettas, Cavaliers, even the #1 selling truck in Oklahoma, the Chevy full-size. Everything must be sold by June 5th. So to move them out, we've got to price Chevys low. Like $59.95 plus 2.9% financing or up to $1,000 cash back. See your Oklahoma Chevy dealer now.
Some restaurants spend a lot of time and money to create a certain atmosphere. We'd rather put our money where your mouth is and put something a little more important on your plate. Furs, food this good takes all day. The Furs, all you can eat. If you think it takes a long time to read all this, you should see how long it takes to cook it. Furs, because food this good and this much takes all day.
Shadow Mountain Institute has responded to the critical need for less restrictive and less costly psychiatric care for young people with the development of a unique and effective partial hospitalization program. The partial program is a flexibly scheduled day treatment option, offering the best of intensive therapy and the important benefits of the young person's continued involvement in school, family, community, and social activities. At Shadow Mountain Institute, you'll find a complete continuum of care, including that treatment option that's best for your child and your family.
Been quite an afternoon. Looked like the heaviest storms move right through Tulsa. I'll show you that on a loop in just a moment. Doppler 6 radar. Tulsa, it's sunny out there right now. The storm has gone by. Our temperatures have dropped back from the 80s into the 60s. Heaviest storm now through the Veneta area over to almost Miami, running right down through the Pryor area. Funnel clouds were sighted in and around Pryor, and we understand that sirens were sounded there about 30 minutes ago. We've been calling over there. We've had no confirmation of any kind of damage or any tornadoes. Funnel clouds, though, sighted there. Runs right on down through about the Wagner area over in Tahlequah, and that storm will be moving into your county within the next 15 to 30 minutes. Right on down through Wagner, west of the Muskogee area, on down south of Okmulgee and Henrietta right now. Strongest storms off to the west of us. Let me show you Doppler 6 velocity pictures. We're looking now at winds getting stronger and stronger, blowing away from the Doppler as we go through blues and into reds. Each one of those shades represents another 8 miles per hour. So we're looking at 4, 5, 6, 7 ranges of velocities. So 7 times 8 is 56 miles per hour. So 50 to 60 mile per hour winds blowing through the Pryor area right now, headed to the east at about 35 to 40 miles per hour. You can see other heavy winds associated with that squall line. Let me show you at this point our current conditions right here in town. We're looking at mostly partly cloudy skies, thunder showers off to the east of us, 67 degrees, 87% relative humidity, southeasterly breeze, falling barometer, 88, the highest I've seen so far today, 63 our morning low. Pollen mold spore count at this time is rather low comparatively, less than 1,000, most of it mold spores. But man-made pollutants, ozone in particular this afternoon, in the moderate range at 69. That's as high as we've seen for a while. Let me show you now a thunderstorm watch that includes much of the viewing area until 9 o'clock tonight, includes Tulsa, starts up around the Veneta area, runs right down through Wagner, on down through about the McAllister area, and points off to the west. Severe thunderstorm watch until 9. Now watch the radar from 2 o'clock this afternoon. Storms just starting out to the west. Look at that. The heaviest storms, without a doubt, punched right through the Tulsa area. Now we see them off to the west, the east of us, and moving on away. Our evening's looking pretty good. Visible satellite shows that massive storm associated with the severe weather north and east of the Tulsa area. Notice an hour ago we were at 81 degrees. We're now down into the 60s. It's 86 degrees down in McAllister. And where the storms move through, temperatures dropping into the 60s. 10 o'clock last night, massive storms moving basically along the Red River. Watch the development this afternoon now, just to the west and north of us, and of course the severe weather that moved through the area, additional heavy storms back down towards Amarillo. Forecast for tomorrow, we're looking at another day with a shower and thunderstorm forecast, a possibility yet of severe weather even tomorrow. We'll watch it very carefully for you. Let me show you the forecast specifically now. Through the evening, severe thunderstorm watches in effect. At this point, no warnings in effect. Do expect scattered thunderstorms, some severe with heavy rainfall. That squall line, you saw it on Doppler 6, is already east of us, likely not to redevelop it in our area or west of there. Southeasterly breeze, 79 degrees by 9 o'clock. Overnight, still a chance of showers or thunderstorms, possibly severe. Now that's the squall line that will gradually work out of the state prior to midnight. 67 our low for tomorrow morning. Slight chance of showers or thunderstorms, 69 by 9. For tomorrow afternoon, pretty good chance of thunderstorms, some likely severe, heavy rainfall possible, gusty south winds in mid-80s. Here's our outlook for Sunday. Still a moderate chance of thunderstorms at 85 Monday, slight chance of showers, 87 degrees, and Tuesday, mid-80s, and only a slight chance of showers or thunderstorms. So our neighbors off to the east, that squall line, it's a rough one. It's moving your way. It's out of our hair for right now. Tomorrow it could get busy again.
And we'll keep an eye on it tonight, I assume.
Surely we will.
All right, thank you, Jim. Now, if you want to stay inside, high and dry over the weekend, and you like classic automobiles, you might head out to the 17th Annual Collector Car Auction here in Tulsa. People from around the world bidding on 600 cars, starting out at just $1,000. 1938 Bentley convertible. This one, expected to get top dollar, more than $200,000. American baby boomers have become big customers.
The guy that was in high school in the 50s or 60s is buying the car that he either owned then or wished he would have owned then. And you have a finite supply of these cars, but the demand keeps getting bigger and bigger, and consequently the prices rise dramatically.
Show runs through Sunday.
Bob Stevens, baby boomer, didn't you let one of those classic cars get away?
I did indeed. I had a '68 Mustang when I was in high school and college, and boy, I wish I still had it now.
I wish you did too.
We're going to show you a guy who thinks he's a classic. In fact, he says he's worth so much he'd have to be put on layaway. The next Bo Jackson coming up next.
How does Brahms do it? Brahms frozen yogurt. How do they get all that Brahms goodness on Brahms cones and delicious Brahms sundaes and still make it with fewer calories and 94% fat-free? Brahms frozen yogurt. Tastes so good. How does Brahms do it? Visit your neighborhood Brahms ice cream and dairy store. Say, make mine with Brahms frozen yogurt, please, and we'll show you how we do it at Brahms Do It.
Make the other side green with envy when you use quality yard and garden supplies from True Value Hardware stores. The Hose-Mobile hose cart from Suncast for just $22.88 has an easy link hose connector and faucet adapter. The Gates 50-foot Flexogen hose for only $16.99 is lightweight and flexible. And the Rain Date electronic water timer from Green Thumb turns water on and off at pre-selected times. It's just $29.99 at participating True Value Hardware stores and home centers.
For the most part, college baseball is a whole lot less fun than t-ball. There are way too many walks because most of the pitchers can't throw strikes, so the games take forever and the scores are still like t-ball scores. But now things get fun. The 8 schools that do have guys who can throw strikes are in Omaha for the College World Series. Arkansas opens up tonight against crippled Wichita State at 7 o'clock. This afternoon, everything got underway with North Carolina and Florida State. Florida State, the top seed, Buddy Cripp hit a home run in the very first inning, and the Seminoles are ahead now in the 8th by a score of 4-2. Bo Jackson. Folks have been calling him a once-in-a-lifetime athlete because he's so good he can play both baseball and football at the big league level, but Bo's not so much hot stuff anymore. We've actually found a twice-in-a-lifetime phenomenon. Deion Sanders. We've told you about him the last couple of nights. Florida State defensive back. They call him Neon Deion, or Prime Time, #1 choice of the Atlanta Falcons. Also, now a New York Yankee. And now really thinking of a baseball career.
Earlier, I was planning on leaving July 3rd, but that decision have changed. I might stay a little longer to pursue my baseball career a little farther. And Bose plays baseball the whole season, football half. I might do it totally opposite, but right now, I have to go back and reevaluate the situation. You know, I always loved football, but baseball is growing on me day by day. First, it started off as a girlfriend, but I'm starting to love that woman, you know.
For guys like Neon Deion, the sky's the limit. For others, the dream can die like that. Today, former OU All-American lineman Mark Hudson, cut by the Dallas Cowboys. Former OSU lineman Byron Woodard, let go by the Seattle Seahawks. 2 guys you just knew were going to make it. Now they're close to having to find real jobs. Dale Cook didn't like his real job either. So tonight, his comeback fight against Alberto Garcia at the Sheraton Kensington. Last night, it was George Foreman, 40 years old now, still trying to make his comeback. The former heavyweight champ whipped Bert Cooper with that punch right there. Fight only lasted 2 rounds. Cooper did not answer the bell in round 3, which let Foreman begin to answer and ask, at least, for Mike Tyson's head. He wants Mike Tyson, sure. Well, before any Tyson-Foreman fight, the champ will beat up on Carl the Truth Williams. That's now set for July 21st. The Mike Tyson of tennis. I wonder if Steffi Graf has ever been called the Mike Tyson of tennis. She's the champ. I mean, 110 pounds, but she's the heavyweight slugger. Steffi Graf today making it to the 4th round of the French Open at rainy Roland Garros in Paris. Rainy clay today, but watch, she's just something else. Steffi in the near court. We'll watch her finish off Nicole Jagerman of the Netherlands. Watch this. Just like that. Huh? She's going to win again. Finally, since we started with baseball, how about finishing with it? We're kind of proud of Tulsa County Stadium. Pretty artificial turf, nice sight lines, functional little ballpark. I want to show you the state of the art. This ballpark opens Monday night. It's the Toronto Sky Dome. It has a retractable roof that they say they can get opened or closed in less than 20 minutes. There is also a hotel inside the stadium with 70 rooms that open out and look on to what's going on if you've got enough money to have one of those fancy suites. Seats $52,000 for baseball, $55,000 for football, and the fancy scoreboard that lights up and does neat things. Glenda Sylvie would love to see a ball game there because you could have one of those hotel suites.
Glenda Sylvie would love to see a ball game anywhere.
Okay.
That's terrible not to have ever seen a baseball game. I need to do that.
We'll do that. But
Major League Baseball.
Kind of
right, exactly. Right. But what about those great old parks? I mean, how do you think that compares?
Well, this one at least isn't, you know, when it's a pretty day, they'll at least open it up and let you watch the pretty day. So it's not as bad as some of those domed things. You know?
And you've also got to do that in Canada. You've got to take into consideration that that's in Canada where the weather gets extremely bad.
Cold.
Yes.
Very.
That's why they put the top on.
That's right.
Thank you, Bob. Still ahead now in the Viewer Mail, a review of some allegedly subliminal commercial messages.
That and Gary Cogill with the latest shoot-'em-up flick, Renegade.
Someone up there at Nissan likes you.
Cashback continues at Nissan. You can get $500 to $1,000 cash back on selected hard bodies and Sentras. Up to $2,000 cash back or special financing on selected Stanzas. And dealer cash incentives up to $3,000. So get into what's coming down at your Nissan dealer now.
Howdy, this is Frank, and I'd like to invite you to Frank's Country Inn 27th Memorial for our all-you-can-eat buffet and bodacious salad and fruit bar, golden fried chicken, crisp catfish, chicken fried steaks, shrimp, hickory smoked beef ribs, pork ribs, chuck roast, sausage, bologna, delicious baked chicken and catfish, 12 hot vegetables, bodacious 50-item salad and fruit bar, peach cobbler, cherry cobbler, apple cobbler, cream pie, pecan pie, ice cream. Waitress service, open 7 days, all day. It's Frank's Country Inn, 27th Memorial.
It's not too late to take your best shot at the Dr. Pepper 3-on-3 basketball tournament, June 10th and 11th. We're closing off the streets downtown, and 3-man teams are taking their best shot at half-court ball. And since we've extended the registration deadline to June 2nd, there's still plenty of time to sign up your team. So grab a couple of friends and head for the hoops. Look for details and registration blanks at all area Arby's and at Dr. Pepper and Bud Light displays. The Dr. Pepper 3-on-3 basketball tournament. It's worth a shot.
Coming up tonight on the late edition of the news after the NBA playoff game, Chinese troops trying to break up demonstrations by pro-democracy students have been turned back. An American consumer concern over Alar causes the chemicals maker to take action. Also tonight at 10, Terry Hadley reports on how the U.S. Postal Service is alienating union workers in Tulsa and why department stores caught in the middle. Join us for those stories and more tonight once again after NBA basketball.
Time now for the mail, and since it is Friday evening, some viewer comments on the media. This first one is from Tim Potter of Tulsa, Dear Mr. Vaughn. While the intelligence quotient of television advertising is usually below the chimpanzee level, the most recent spot for radio station KBEZ takes the cake for the most subliminal message. At the very end of the commercial, a woman is shown playing with a red toy truck. Why? Please review the clip and tell us what you think. About a dozen of us are scratching our heads, wondering if we are missing some subtle or cryptic message. No one wants to be outsmarted by a television commercial. Well, we did review the clip. Here is the scene. Some of those who studied it, 2 people actually, thought the woman is putting a child's toy out of the way so that she might enjoy a cup of coffee, soft music, and conversation. The other people who saw it, including myself, didn't have the slightest idea what it meant, except perhaps that there was the truck in the sofa and the woman didn't want to sit on it. Speaking of subliminal messages, Sue Savage of Tulsa sends this picture of her cat, Sterling Silver, watching Jim Giles's weather. Now, close inspection of the photo off to the left there also reveals a large stuffed dog, name, if any, unknown, watching the cat, and on top of the TV, an apparently ceramic lion watching the ceiling. Now, if there is something subliminal going on here, we suspect only the cat knows what that is.
Oh, my.
Great.
Dr. Doppler joining us once again. Look at our weather this evening. I'm glad that everything got through without much harm, at least so far.
And I've got to comment on the picture. I'm continually amazed at how brilliant cats are.
Smartest cat in green country.
Big storms through town. It's cooling off out there. Let me show you a Doppler 6 radar. Look at the massive storms now. They've moved east of Pryor. Our velocity on Doppler 6 radar would indicate anywhere from 50 to 65 miles per hour, extreme eastern parts there of Mays County. Also moving into the northwestern part of Creek County, that storm possibly becoming severe later on. Big storms all over Wagner County and moving into just west of Muskogee. That's MU on the lower right-hand part of your screen. So heavy storms east of us. Looks like a lovely evening for us, but we're going to have to monitor the potential for severe weather off to the east of us with that squall.
Well, we've made it so far with no major damage and so no reports of injuries, and hope we make it the rest of the evening. Thank you, Charles.
Thank you, Jim. Kiefer Sutherland and Lou Diamond Phillips have teamed up to make a new movie about good guys chasing bad guys. Channel 6's movie critic Gary Cogill says renegades may be likable, but it's the same old shootout cliche.
Chief, so don't call me Chief. My name is Hank Storm.
Let me see the money, Chief. Renegades is the violent new buddy movie starring Kiefer Sutherland and Lou Diamond Phillips. Another shoot-'em-up where you can't tell the good guys from the bad guys. Renegades is a cliche-a-minute movie with a high body count and a lot of silly chase scenes. Kiefer Sutherland plays a renegade cop. Lou Diamond Phillips plays an angry Indian, and together they chase a bad guy named Marino who shoots people. More importantly, he stole Lou Diamond Phillips' spear. It's an odd plot twist in a completely derivative movie.
I'm ordering you to drop your gun now! Drop it! I said drop it!
It's not worth it. We got away. That's all. Okay, jump.
You're crazy.
I gotta take a couple steps.
Renegades is a slick production, and even though Phillips and Sutherland work well together, they need to choose better material. Here's a senseless R-rated movie where the good guys seem to kill more people than the bad guys. Renegades is a little like Clint Eastwood, a lot like Stallone, and nothing like real life. It's a gimmick movie. That's a look at Renegades. I'm Gary Cogill.
There was a bag or something for that man to fall on there.
Well, I wonder.
Well, he said the good guys all kill the bad guys, and maybe he was a bad guy. I don't know.
I don't know. I wish we could give our opinions like Gary can, but we won't.
Mainly because we haven't seen the movie.
That's right.
Which is really the thing. I wanted to plug the telethon in terms of the shameless plug businesses. You're going to be on there starting when? Tomorrow night?
10:45 Saturday night.
Yes, and running all day Sunday.
Right, out of Woodland Hills Mall. Come see us.
And that's a benefit, of course, for the Children's Medical Center here in Tulsa.
Right, thank you for that. That's the news for this Friday, June 2nd. I'll be back here Monday after I see you, hopefully, this weekend.
And I'll see you here again tonight after the NBA playoff game. Thank you for sharing your time this evening, and good night.